In the fall of 2006, my second wife of 6 years, age 56, I'm a year older, fell on her way to a job interview. The job should have been a doddle, she was never called back for a second interview. The following year, she interviewed for a few other jobs. Nothing that even came close to stretching her abilities and credentials. And nothing clicked. And on a couple of those occasions, she fell again. Then, one day, in an across-the-room conversation, I realized I wasn't quite understanding what she was saying, due to a slurring in her voice that I hadn't noticed before. A couple of days later, she fell down the steps in our 2-story home. Nothing broken, thank God, but we need to see a doctor. Progressive supranuclear palsy. To put it simply, her nervous system was shutting down, one bit at a time. There is no cure, it's invariably fatal. Basically, I got to sit and watch while my wife died by inches and days. Everything went okay until June 2010, then a combination of a stroke and the first bout of pneumonia put her in a nursing home for about a year. The staff managed to teach her to swallow again so she could eat some foods, and the tube was removed from her stomach, so she came home again. I got nursing assistants to help in my caring for her at the house, and my job set me up so I could access the company computer from home. This lasted until the second bout of pneumonia put her back in the hospital, then the nursing home again, and the feeding tube was reinstalled. We knew it wasn't coming out this time. After 6 further months in the nursing home, Patty came home, for the last time. I'd promised her she wasn't going back, had the staff at the nursing home teach me how to do her 4 times a day feedings, and I got back in touch with the nursing agency for 2 shifts of help. The aide I'd had previously was on another assignment, but was able to cover the afternoon-evening shift. To do the morning-afternoon shift, I still had to go into the office a couple of mornings to swap paperwork around. They sent Maggie, a pleasant, early 40s, blonde redneck girl, her description of herself, who was incredibly competent, wonderful with the client, and obviously keeping herself going despite something being very obviously wrong in her private life. I could almost watch her shaking off life and putting on her professional attitude as she walked onto the front porch every morning. Over the next 6 months, I got to know this lady, learned that real life consisted of a drunken, doping, deadbeat good, OL Southern boy who was both her husband and currently in jail, and she was living with his parents who were no better, but were grabbing her paycheck and using the hell out of her. I commiserated as best I could, and I'll admit we got close. Closer than I ever figured I would get to the hired help. On the 13th of February 2013, Patty died. Maggie was there on her day off, as I had called her immediately after calling 911, but before calling Patty's sister who lived about half an hour away. Maggie stuck with me through the funeral, taking care of estate matters, and within 6 months it was damned obvious we weren't talking employer-employee anymore. A few months after that, she found out her husband was about to be released from prison. We talked things over for a day or two, and shortly thereafter she moved out, filed for divorce, and had rented a room a few miles away. Within a year, she'd moved in with me. On the 11th of April 2015 we were married. It's been 5 wonderful years. Blessing in disguise? I tend to think of it as proof of the concept of karma.